Talk about backed by gold, because you brought that up. People don't realize that currency is supposed to have something backing it. That's how it's supposed to work. It's not just supposed to be a paper that you just print off. But what do you mean backed by gold? What's that mean?
Yeah, so traditionally, and especially the U.S. dollar, so the U.S. dollar represented about 1/20th of an ounce of gold. Okay, and that, you had what's called gold clauses in contracts. Almost every contract in America up until FDR, it had a clause in it saying that if the person who had the debt, if they wanted, they could be paid in gold at the present value. Okay, meaning 1/20th of an ounce. So of course today gold is worth what, $2,000 per ounce, right? So that would translate into a 99% devaluation. But gold for hundreds of years and through the first 150 years of this republic, gold was another way of saying, or rather the dollar was another way of saying gold. Like a dollar was defined as 1/20th of an ounce of gold. Now FDR swooped in and he changed that just unilaterally. He changed that by about 40%, and he outlawed Americans holding gold, which was quite shocking at the time. That went all the way to the Supreme Court, which only greenlighted it because FDR was threatening to pack that court. Okay, so FDR devalued it massively. And then, of course, by the time we got to Nixon just woke up one morning and said, you know what, forget about it. It's not backed by anything. Which, by the way, he came on TV, he said temporarily. So that's always how this works, right? That was, 52 years ago now. So that's temporarily for you. And always that's how they do it, because when they first announced that they're going to do something that outrageous, right, that they're literally going to default on the dollar, right, which had been defined as gold for at that point, over 200 years, they always say, no, we're just going to do this for a minute because, times are tough. And as soon as we get past this crisis, we'll go right back to what we had always promised. That's how government rolls.
Good grief. All right, Peter, finally, what's a debt crisis look like? Everyone has their own predictions. No one actually knows. All we can do is guess what it looks like when that bill comes due. What's the Peter St. Onge vision of how this horror show is going to come about?
It keeps going until countries start defaulting. Just about 12 years ago, Greece defaulted on its loans. And the thing to remember here is that countries don't default because they have to. Okay, they don't default because they ran out of money and literally don't have any more money. They default because at some point voters decide to. Okay, that's what happened in Greece. What will start happening is every country in the world right now is taking on enormous amounts of debt. What will happen is that one by one, voters in different countries will say, you know what? I don't want that $300,000 in debt, and you can't make me pay it. So no, let's just walk away from it. And that'll start with, kind of borderline countries like Argentina. It'll move on to, countries that are sort of more and more, have stronger brand names, places like Italy or Spain. They can't at the moment, but, sort of quasi-developed countries. And as it escalates, it more and more voters get the idea it's kind of contagious. And, if we look back through history, when countries start defaulting, when one or two go, you get bigger and bigger countries, like sort of a domino effect. And eventually all countries go along with it because all voters look at that. They say, wait a minute, I can just throw away this $300,000 debt. Sounds great to me. At that point, the gig is up for the government. They certainly can't run any more deficits. They'd actually have to live within their means. Realistically, what would happen at that point is that it's to the money printers, right? They would no longer be able to sell debt. They would actually have to print up all the money they need. And then, we could look at double digit or higher inflation with really no end in sight to that.
Oh. Well, on that sunny note, thank you, Peter. I appreciate it, sir.
Always sunny, absolutely. The Republic has been through worse. That's the thing to remember.
For too long, we've been led to believe that communism is a thing of the past. But the truth is, communism is alive. It's here, and it's infiltrating every aspect of American life. Introducing the Anti-Communist Manifesto by Jesse Kelly, the practical guide for patriots ready to defend our nation from its most dangerous enemy. Discover the shocking extent of communist infiltration in our education system, their alliance with American corporations, and the twisted truth behind environmentalism. This eye-opening book exposes the true face of communism and empowers you to fight back. Join the fight for freedom. Pre-order your copy of the Anti-Communist Manifesto today by going to jessekellybook.com.